Hey folks, finally got this Chapman set up. Now this is one of the very early, was it M1? Um, Super Strat style. Of course, SSH set up on the pickups. So I think Chapman as a company has probably come a long way since this, because I think this is one of their earliest renditions of this guitar. No date on it, but that's just looking at pictures and things like that. What I like the body a lot. I like this sort of solid wood finish. And I do like the fretboard. However, I did have problems dialing in the setup on this guitar a little bit. Not the usual problem. I'll tell you what it was. The neck feels good. The frets feel good. They are jumbo frets, but the radius is quite high. It's quite a sharp radius on this guitar. And the setting up each individual saddle, the way it was set up, I was getting some weird buzzing. Plus this was completely blocked down, so I freed the tremolo up a little bit so it floats a little bit more. And the action is probably not quite where most people would want it, but with this neck, this is about the best I can get it. So it's a little tiny bit high, and it's because of the radiusing up and down the neck, and maybe possibly a couple of high frets as well. So it buzzes in the middle section a little bit. I might be able to get rid of some of that if I did more work on shaping the nut, and possibly if I did a fret job on it and just leveled all the frets and started again, I might be able to get it perfect. So it just the way the neck is radiused all the way up, with this particular saddle and nut setup, was quite finicky getting it dialed in. And it's, you know how those of you who love a low action, you can only go as low as a guitar will let you, and some guitars let you, some fight you. This one was a bit more of a fight, so it's a bit higher than probably most people, shredders anyway, would like. It plays quite nice for like a jazz style. Pickups sound alright. Everything on it is pretty good. Now, I imagine this was probably when it came out, 400 to 500 or maybe 300 to 400 pound range, and I think Chapman split off their Pro series and their sort of entry level series, but I think they've married them back up, or they've changed configurations on these guitar delineations over the years. I try to keep up. Perhaps they're not the most au fait with what's going on there. I try to keep up with them because they are an interesting company, and they are a guitar company that's had a online presence from day one, so they're sort of unique in that respect. So I imagine some of the newer versions of this, they've really got things dialed in to where you won't get the same issues that you get with this older one. Or maybe I just got one that's just a little bit out of whack in terms of the neck shape and the radiusing situation, consistency from one end to the other. You let me know what you've had coming across these guitars. I do like the style of the guitar. I like the look of the guitar, and in general, I like the neck of the guitar. Um, Except uh, it's not giving me quite what I want. I might try to go down. These are the strings that came on it. They're relatively new, and I think they are 11s. I might go down to something like a 9 on this guitar. Um, because of the issue with it, maybe a 9 would be more forgiving up and down the neck. Um, anyway, I thought I'd give you an honest assessment of this guitar after setup because it is my first of this particular brand. And it was a tricky setup. I thought I had it dialed in. Then when I came back a few days later, because you always got to let guitar settle, don't you? When I let it settle and came back, I was getting these strange buzzes. At first, I thought it was somewhere in the tremolo setup because I reset the strings on the inside. Then I thought it might be, because it was such a slight, mysterious buzz, I thought it might be in these pickup mounts here and the springs underneath rattling or something. But then I found out it was, sighting the neck while playing, which is a challenge. I found out that there is such a sharp radius on this guitar and the neck shape. It was a very, very slight buzzing on certain notes on certain frets. But then when I took a fret rocker to it, it didn't really have the sort of out of line fret alignment that you normally find when you hear those types of buzzes. So it was like one of those, for those of you who set up guitars, you know what I mean when you get like a buzz and it takes you a while to sort of figure out what's going on with the physics of the guitar. It was one of those situations, just an incremental thing that was, not conforming to the usual laws of guitar setup. But anyway, it plays really nicely now. I would, if I were keeping this, I probably would switch out the pickups, to be honest with you. I'm not a finicky pickup guy. And I don't normally talk about this on this channel. I'm not one of those guys that, tears out pickups as a matter of fact with every guitar they touch and put in their favorite brand. I would say these are a little dull, a little unexciting, and not enough play between the settings. So if I were modding this, and I still may do that, I might choose to switch this out. I would probably, the frets are new. It doesn't need a fret job. I think it might need re-radiusing, if you know what I mean. And then having the frets leveled and re-crowned, which is a lot of work. Yeah, so that's what's going on with this particular guitar. It's in very, very good condition. I reckon the person who sold it on probably did so because there's this finicky situation that they probably couldn't figure out. Well, the guitar just wasn't quite satisfying enough for them. When I got it, the tremolo was locked all the way down, and you probably saw that intro video that I did, and the action was quite high, probably to escape that buzzing issue. And for some reason, he had the neck pickup, the neck pickup screwed all the way to the floor, and this one pretty far down. So I think they only used the bridge pickup on this particular guitar, and the only one setting on the three-way switch was working well. So I went in and found a short in the wiring, took care of that. Everything else, the smoothness of the neck is great. So I'll let this sit a bit longer, decide what I want to do with it. But there's a little report on the Chapman ML1 after considerable setup efforts to get it playing to where I want it to. I'm wondering if Chapman has improved some of this hardware. The Wilkinson pickup, the Wilkinson tremolo system I think this is a Wilkinson, is fine. It's very rudimentary. I would say the switch on this and possibly the knobs on it and the tuners are fairly cheap. I could see modders switching those out, but I've heard that the newer ones have different, have all different hardware on them. They've sort of upped their game since these earlier models. So I know a lot of people quibble on the infinity sign there, but I kind of like it. You know, I think it's distinctive. It gives the guitar a certain look. Whether they're original at doing that, I don't know. I've seen that argument. So this one's Monkey Lord approved. You can see it upside down there. And, you know, I think it's a pretty good guitar, a pretty good early example of a Chapman guitar. I'm glad I got one of these early ones first, so I have a reference point when I look at a newer one. But I thought you'd like a second report. I don't always give second reports on guitars. They don't always hang around long enough for me to do that. But this one I thought was worth a second look after a setup situation. So you tell me, a lot of you, especially those of you in the UK, have experience with this brand. There's quite a lot of variable takes on the Chapman brand. Some people say it's a vanity project. Others say it's a very viable and cost-effective guitar, good bang for the buck. It's strange that we've got such striation between opinions on this particular brand. So I'm always interested to see what you think of these guitars. I think these now sell on the used market, something like this. You can get them as low as $250. I think that's about where they sit. You might get one as low as one of these old ML1s. Is it worth it? Are there better things at this price range? What do you think of them now? What do you think of the new pricing structure on these? Do we see enough gains to compensate for the increased pricing structure? Is that just inflation, particularly in today's day and age? Give me your thoughts on these, on what your experience might be if you have one, or if you've had a few. Did you keep them? Did you sell them on? Let me know. All right, folks. See you on the next one.